Today's video is brought to you by ablmerch.com. You're able to get the hat I have on my head, plus a large selection of other hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, and more through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this clip from The Daily Show over on Comedy Central featuring the woke host, Trevor Noah, a so-called comedian, talking about the wildfires that had started over in California. Very devastating wildfires. Hopefully everybody's able to get to safety and rest in peace to those that have passed away. But what sparked the wildfire was a gender reveal and some kind of incendiary device that blows up and shows the colored smoke for the particular gender, you know, pink or blue for a boy or a girl. I'm not even sure what the baby was at that particular party that sparked the fire, but there's a fire right now because of a gender reveal bomb, basically. Now, Trevor Noah was saying there's no need for gender reveal parties because the kid should decide their own gender when they get old enough. Now, this is just really crazy. But before I get into it, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see exactly what I said in its full context from Trevor Noah's socially distanced location. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what he said. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Guys, this has to stop, right? Or at least if you insist on a gender reveal, you should do something that helps the situation. The water's pink. It's a girl. And aside from all the damage it can cause, celebrating a baby's genitalia is starting to feel very outdated. Like, given everything we're learning about gender reveal parties should only happen when the child is old enough to know their actual gender and to pitch in some cash for the fire damage. And honestly, I don't even know why we need gender reveal parties. You know what we do need, though? Race reveal parties.
All right, you saw that, you heard that. Now, there's quite a few elephants, or at least one big elephant in the room that I got to address straight from the beginning. Trevor Noah is a liberal, pretty liberal if I may add, not conservative at all from what I've been able to see over the years, just kind of observing him from afar, seeing some clips pop up on my Twitter timeline every now and again. This is not a conservative guy. So when you're talking about a gender reveal, what are we actually talking about if you're on the left? Because I thought that a pregnant woman just had a clump of cells, all right? That's what I thought it was. I didn't think it was a baby until it got born. And then even after the baby is born, it's kind of questionable whether it's a baby or not, but that's a different story, and I digress. The whole point is that when a woman is pregnant, they say clump of cells is not really anything, all right? If you ask these people, hey, what does a pregnant woman have in their belly? Is there a baby there or what? They're not really going to answer the question directly because they want to have this whole idea of abortion not killing a human being, which it actually does. Okay, when you abort a baby, you're aborting a baby. It's a baby in development. Life begins at conception. That's a fact. People want to say, oh, life begins at 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Well, why not 11 weeks? Why not 7 weeks? What's the difference? When the baby is conceived, life begins. You have different stages of development, but I don't want to go down the rabbit hole right now, so I'll just move right along. When you have a gender reveal party, what are you even talking about if you're on the left? The baby shouldn't be considered a baby until it's born, right? First thing. Second thing, let's stop playing this game about being able to decide your gender, okay? Either you're XX or XY. If you got some other kind of chromosomes going on, that's a different situation. Very rare cases. Either you XX or XY. That's just the reality for 99.99999% of people on the planet. All right. So boy or girl, that's it. Ain't no other gender, nothing else going on. Now, I know some of you guys out there screeching, hey, ABL, gender and sex, not the same thing. Well, why is it that when I'm in Walmart and I see this big 7-foot-tall, plump-bullion looking dude with a Muslim beard and a wedding dress on and some pink barrettes and bow ties in his hair, and I call him sir, he says, hey, don't assume my gender. Well, I mean, I'm looking at a male, so I know you're a male. I don't know if he has some kind of other gender you go by, but I see a male. That's regardless of what. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can create your own gender and say, you know what, I identify as a pandemic, deer, ape, wolf, and that's your gender, and that's fine. You can identify as that. You can call yourself whatever kind of nickname you want. You can cosplay, you can role play, you can do all those things. But when I see Shaquille O'Neal in the Orlando Magic in the 1990s dunking the basketball, I'm not going to confuse him for a woman. That is a man. That's it. It ain't nothing else to it. So when you say they get to decide their own gender, that's not how it works. Boy or girl. And that's chromosome, that's DNA, that's physical evidence. We can see what's going on. There's nothing else there. This is part of this whole thing to try and get kids into this whole woke mentality. You know, it's not even to allow kids to the quote unquote transition like Dwayne Wade's son is. It's not even about that. It's about indoctrinating these kids from a young age to think that these things are okay. It is not okay for a child to quote unquote decide their gender, because once you do that, what's going to be the next step? You're going to have gender reassignment surgery? Are you going to be on hormones? Are you going to be groomed as a different quote unquote gender? What is Charlize? I don't care what her name is. Charlize Theron. What is she doing with her son? Okay, this is a boy that she adopted from Africa. What is she doing with this boy, putting him in women's clothing or girls' clothing? Like, you can't just say, oh, my boy told me he was a girl. So what? He's still a child. You have dominion over the child. If you're the parent, that's your job. You can't just let them do whatever they want to do. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be a Power Ranger, a Ninja Turtle, an astronaut. I wanted to be all that. I can't just put on the yellow bandana, grab some nunchucks, and then become a Ninja Turtle. That's not how it works at all. I'm still Anthony. I'm still a boy. That's it. It ain't nothing else to it. But this is just more of the woke stuff from the left. This is why they're starting to lose in their ratings. All right. Daily Show was never really my show that I would watch back when Jon Stewart was hosting. It wasn't really my thing, but it was more tolerable back in the day. And then when Jon Stewart became more into the wokeness, it just kind of got out of control. And then you got Trevor Noah pretty much just holding the torch, carrying the torch. And Trevor Noah used to be kind of funny a little bit back when he first came out, but now the comedy is just totally diluted and watered down because you got to put all this SJW woke stuff in there. This permeates all aspects of television. You got the NFL doing it. You got all comedy, movies, TV shows, everything. Everybody's doing it. And the American people are starting to tune out. They're saying, you know what? I'm done. This is not going to be the way that it goes. So as I close, I want to say this. I think the solution to a Trevor Noah and that kind of quote unquote comedy will be for us to vote with our wallet, to vote with our eyes and our ears and the way we consume entertainment, media, and everything else. Once we begin to tune out and not watch and their ad dollars drop, their ratings drop, their viewership drops, the credibility of their organizations drop, then they're going to have to go in the other direction. But if we keep on supporting it, keep on bringing them money, they don't really care. They'll put out any kind of false information, any kind of weird SJW, quote unquote, woke information. As long as they keep making money on it, they'll keep on doing it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think Trevor Noah was right when he said that kids should decide their own gender when they get to be old enough? And then if that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. But my question would be, at what point is quote unquote old enough? Is it when they can first, say dada mama? Like at what point is old enough? That's an actual thing that we need to really address. If we're going to go down that woke road, let's go down the woke road. And if you can identify as a particular gender at 5 years old, what else can you consent to or identify as? I'll leave that right there. Or do you think that I'm right about Trevor Noah? It's just more of this woke SJW garbage. It's not really real and hypocritical. They're talking about gender reveal and acknowledging that there's a baby inside of a woman when she's pregnant before she gives birth. But when you're talking about abortion, the very same people would say, oh, clump of cells, it's not really a baby, all this and that and the third. Pick a particular train of thought and stick to it rather than jumping all over the place and saying things that don't line up with each other. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.